Welcome back to the $2 Film Club. Today we are talking about. We might be talking about this movie a little too early. I was looking at the release date, and I don't know if they changed it again. But this movie doesn't actually come out for like a couple more months. I'm pretty sure. But the new
Bro,
Masters
what?
of the Universe
I
is
thought it was
coming
supposed
out.
to come out this weekend.
No,
No
it
way.
comes out in like a month or something. I was looking at the
No
release date.
way.
It's in North America, I believe.
Watch it be like July something, I bet you.
Oh, okay. That's maybe this is why. So the according to Wikipedia, the Hollywood release date, so maybe like the premiere of it is May 18th, but the actual like theatrical release is June 5th. So
Okay, so it's not that far of a release
I mean
at
it's
least. I
it's
thought it
it's
was.
before most people are gonna see it, but it doesn't matter. It's better than being late, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll definitely be early on this one at least.
Yeah, but so yeah, Master of the Universe, new film coming out, based on the Mattel line of action figures from the early 80s. I think 1982 is when they started making them. I have never consumed a piece of Master of the Universe He-Man material aside from like the Skeletor memes, like the one where he's like, "Oh, until next time" or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this was a new experience. I've heard about this movie, and that I didn't hear good things, so that was pretty much my knowledge. I never watched the cartoon or anything, but yeah.
Well,
So
I
sorry,
was
go ahead.
just fucking confused him for Flash Gordon. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I remember saying that to you when we first talked about this, and I just seem to always do that for some reason. So going into this, like for the first time seeing it, I forgot that it wasn't again. So
Oh,
I was totally expecting like the Flash Gordon intro, and I was so thrown off at first. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like,
that's funny. But yeah. So Masters of the Universe from 1987, directed by Gary Goddard.
is this
Produced.
Drew Goddard's brother, or is this
No,
just like a coincidence?
he's an American producer and
Okay,
director.
okay.
But yeah, so produced. It's kind of like a co-production between the Canon Group and Mattel. Like they both were supposed to at least do 50% of the budget, although I don't think that's exactly how it ended up working out because they were both going through financial troubles. Obviously, Mattel still a thing. But anyways, starring Dolph Lundgren as the main character, I guess you could say, He-Man,
Mm.
and alongside Frank Langella as Skeletor. You've also got Courtney Cox, James Tolkien, who I'm pretty sure didn't he die recently?
Well, let's
Um,
see.
the dude who played the principal in Back to the Future.
Yeah, he died March 26th.
Yeah, so I was surprised to see him in this because I didn't know he was in there, but I mean, it was a welcome surprise.
Bro, I didn't know Courtney Cox was in this thing. What are you talking about if we're talking about all people here?
Well, I told you
You
that
know,
last time though because I was looking at the cast. I was like, Courtney
did
Cox is
you?
in.
I don't
Yeah,
remember you.
I didn't know Frank Langella or her were in this.
Like, dude, when I saw Frank and Langella's name come up, I was like, no fucking way, dude. And I didn't realize he was Skeletor till just now. I'll say that.
Well, I don't know. I mentioned last time at the end, like I was looking at this for like the outro, and I was like, why is Frank Langella and Courtney Cox in this? I feel like I've seen the full evolution of Courtney Cox, like as an actress now, having seen because this was like her first big movie, and I've seen her in like Scream. I've seen clips from Friends, but I've never watched any of it. But
Dude, you've never watched Friends? You should be thrown in jail, bro. What? You've never seen at least an
bro,
episode? Okay, I'll say this. Maybe I have a more sentimental, like, part of my heart for this show because I know a lot of people do, but, like, dude, growing up in New York City, watching Friends was kind of like the thing. And I don't know what to tell
I'm
you.
sure it
Made
was. I'm
you
sure it
made you
was.
dream big, bro. Made you dream
I mean,
big.
maybe I've seen like one episode because I know like the CW reruns like a lot of sitcoms.
CW still a thing?
Yeah.
I
Um,
thought they got rid of that channel, bro.
Unfortunately, not. That's why we got like 10 seasons of The Flash for some reason.
Bro,
Um,
it's 9 and let's relax. Only 5 were bad.
Dude, I'm not a big like I never even finished watching The Big Bang Theory. Like sitcoms I can watch every once
They're
in a
hit or miss
while.
for me.
Yeah, that's with me too. Like so eventually I kind of just get fizzled out. I'm just like, oh, I'm not really interested in this anymore. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. So yeah, He-Man, Masters of the Universe. This movie is infamous for one not being very good and two being one of the last movies that Canon ever produced.
Oof.
Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know, Canon was notorious, let's say, for their low budget movies. We've talked about Canon before on this podcast when we watched
Whoop.
Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, which I think came out
Ah.
the year before this, I want to say, or maybe it came out like they were the same year or something. But yeah, so that was not a good movie. So far this is the second Canon movie I've ever seen aside from that one. And I mean, this movie looks better for sure, but you can tell that it has a low
I mean, I
budget.
guess.
No, it does. It objectively looks better, which again, it's not a big thing, but there's something. But
Sorry, I think I was just too distracted in this film trying to watch anyone but Dolph Lundgren.
what do you
Like,
mean?
dude, so this is the thing I was telling you about before we started, where I'm like, I don't think I could tell you,
Okay.
but I had an epiphany while watching this movie, and it's that Dolph Lundgren has little to no fucking screen presence, and it bothered
Yes,
me
that is true.
throughout this film to a point where I wanted to see Courtney Cox's awful acting boyfriend to keep coming back. And I wanted to see that nutsack of a Skeletor face over and over again. Like, dude, there's so many things that kind of just like irked me about this film. But Dolph Lundgren having no screen presence for a dude who his whole shtick is to be like big and kind of out there as a personality and just being massively ripped and fucking loathed in baby oil.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't hold like I couldn't believe it, bro.
I mean, to be fair, I think the reason why is because He-Man doesn't really factor into much of the plot, and the action scenes that they give him are not that great. Like his introduction is really awkward because it's shot super like they use a lot of close-ups and stuff and you can't really see what's going on. I mean, the other ones aren't much better, but I could at least follow what was happening. Not that it was choreographed in a particularly interesting way.
Well, you just started like in the middle of the story. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
context for
yeah.
anything. You're just like kind of thrown into like the middle of an already ongoing adventure that like you walk into a movie 30 minutes late and like that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah,
You know?
it does feel like a really abrupt start to the story. Like we get that narration to kind of explain what the Gray Skull is and who the sorceress is and whatnot, but then it just immediately shows us that Skeletor has taken over the castle, which is something that I would have liked to have seen because that sounds like a cool way to start the movie. And then it takes probably about like 45 minutes for us to get like a decent action sequence.
Yeah, decent's one word to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. It didn't bug me as much, him not being as big of a presence, because I'm not a big fan of He-Man. I don't know what all of that is. I think if the movie had been called He-Man, then yeah, I kind of would have taken more issue with it. But I mean, I think there's enough going on aside from him that kind of makes it a little less annoying. But it is an odd choice that He-Man's probably the more well-known character, and then he doesn't really do much. And like I said earlier, he doesn't factor into the plot. He doesn't really lead the story. It's mostly everything around him that kind of just happens, and he's along for the ride, which is not the way you tell a story. But
Well, doesn't he just like straight up disappear for like almost 25 minutes, like after the 15-minute mark of the film when they're trying to introduce all like the Earth stuff? Or did I
no,
like
yeah,
look away and okay,
you're
because
right.
I
Yeah,
feel I was like kind of hoping that I looked away for like a minute doing something and I missed his scene by accident, but I
no,
never felt like I did. And I'm like, he just randomly pops back up behind like Courtney Cox, it feels like. And I'm like, wait, what?
no, yeah. He definitely disappears
Okay,
after
good.
they like split up, And while the fish out of water stuff is going on with the three side characters, we're introduced to Courtney Cox and her boyfriend, and we go with them to the school, and then she gets attacked, and then he doesn't show up until after she's like escaped the school and they're chasing after her. So it is a long time for no He-Man.
Yeah, no, I was just kind of dumbfounded by what I feel like my expectations were compared to what I got. And we talked about this a little bit like before, but like I think I was expecting this film to be, I don't think campy in the sense that the new one looks like it's going to be with all these big vibrant colors on this vibrant world. Cause like a lot of this film takes place in like nighttime, super dark lighting. And so it doesn't feel like it wants to be like fun like the new one, but it feels like it almost wants to take itself too seriously. But then you'll just be thrown into like these really like not scary looking creatures, but just funny looking. And I'm not talking from the sense that the design is intentional to be funny looking.
No, yeah.
And I think like obviously Skeletor is like a huge meme of this film, but dude, it's so embarrassing when his makeup like is attaching to both sides of his lips and it looks like he's melting when he's talking in close up sometimes. And it doesn't help that he doesn't even look like a skeleton. They keep calling him Skeletor, but he looks like some pale man with high cheekbones. Like
I mean, I don't take as much issue with his makeup because it's definitely the one that they spent clearly more money on.
I guess.
The other ones definitely are kind of annoying. Like you can tell that while the design of it looks kind of cool when they're not moving, it's emotion, particularly with like the facial movement. Like you can tell that the actors can't like the move around their faces. Like when their lips are moving, it doesn't look like they're talking. It looks like almost like a shitty puppet because like their
Dude, I
mouths are kind of
know.
just like barely moving up and down while they're talking. And it's that kind of thing where I struggle with the emotion. Like they clearly can't emote with underneath all the prosthetics and whatnot, which kind of sucks because the point of prosthetics is, to allow us to see something that we would normally be able to see. And now I feel like we're covering up stuff that I think is essential.
Let me ask you this. Is it that much of a problem if the actors without all the makeup can also act the same way with a stone face? Because
I mean, I
man,
can't
no
say if
one,
you
bro.
could.
Courtney Cox was the only one who knew how to activate her fucking facial muscles. Everyone
That's fair.
in this
That's fair.
film is a literal walking stick, bro. It's
I think
I don't know. The film just took me so off guard because I feel how stiff everything was from the acting to the choreography. And like I'm not trying to like beat it down too much for like the choreography and like the visual effects because it's the late 80s, but it's almost like they kept trying to do the movie they wanted to. And to like give an example to that, I keep thinking about like when Skeletor and like his little army pulls up to New York, but then I pause the film to only realize there's still 45 minutes left. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This literally feels like an end fight scene, but then nothing really happens. It feels like two little cardboard cutouts fly around in this 2D space for a few minutes and shoot some lasers, and that's about it. But then the film goes right back to all these really shitty like Earth characters, and all the sidekicks to He-Man are also really shitty actors. And so I don't want to see more of anyone else other than Skeletor, but only because it's that much funnier to watch than the rest.
I will say I think the only one doing like a good acting job probably would be Courtney Cox, Frank Langella, and what's her name? The one that plays Evil in what is her name?
Meg Foster?
Meg Foster. I think they're the only ones who are like actually acting. But I mean, I don't know. There wasn't anything inherently like, even though I think they're not doing like a lot of acting, I didn't consider any of it like super abhorrent. Like I know a lot of people make fun of the line delivery from He-Man because of Dolph Lundgren's accent, but I didn't really hear it that much. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't have a lot of lines, But there was only like one or two lines where I was like, maybe you could have given that another go. But I do know that all of He-Man's lines are dubbed, not by a different actor, but apparently everything that they got on set sounded not great, and so in his contract he was allowed to try it like 3 times.
No.
And so I guess on the last try they got it, and so they were like, okay, cool, you get to keep your voice in the movie.
No way.
No, that's a real
No.
thing that I found when I looked it up.
It makes him being in Rocky 4 that much funnier because all he does outside of looking intimidating is grunting and groaning. I think he maybe says one line, but it's like with a really, really heavy accent that he clearly isn't comfortable with. And I'm not talking about like an English accent either.
Yeah.
So Dolph Lundgren, my dude, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to sit here and like be that guy that bashes him down because it's like as boring, as flat, as uninteresting as anything that I've seen. Like, I hate to always go back to The Room, but the thing, like, with Tommy Wiseau is the dude was at least a character. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like He-Man is really a bunch of he-nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have much personality other than like he's noble and he's strong or whatever, which is, it's whatever. I still think there's enough else going on in the movie for that really not to matter for me. And to be fair, the whole time I was watching this, I was expecting it to be on the levels of bad as like the Mortal Kombat movies that we just talked about a couple weeks
Dude,
ago.
never disrespect that 95 film ever again. That's all
I
I'm
think
gonna
I would
say.
rather watch this than the original Mortal Kombat. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Shut the fuck
I had
up,
a way
dude.
better time. 'Cause,
No fucking way.
Here's my
Get
thing.
out of here, bro.
No,
What? No, you, there is no thing with it. What? Dude, I'm fucking flabbergasted, bro. I literally can't even think about what to say to that. Like, dude, there's no okay, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, whatever. Mortal Kombat 2021, sure. Fuck whatever.
I
That
would say
film's
this
a
is the
bunch-
same level as Mortal Kombat 2021 for me personally.
Oh. Oh my god. Dude, I gotta take a fucking walk. Oh. Oh my god. Dude, I cannot believe you just said that on a recorded platform, my guy. You know the fans listen to us, right? Like,
You know what? What did you? I didn't hear what you said. What?
it's just like, you know the feds listen to this, right?
What are they
Like,
gonna
they're
do?
Bro, they're gonna throw you in jail for that opinion.
No, I don't think they will.
Bro, hold up. You're
The feds
really
have
about
been
to-
pretty light on arrests recently, so.
Bro, you're really about to make me ask ChatGPT what's a better film.
All right, just listen though. Here's my reason. This movie, like when I started watching it, I was on, like outside of like the abrupt beginning and whatnot. I was surprised that this movie
What
felt
surprised you?
more like a real movie in terms
What?
of like narrative. Like there's kind of a story that there's a goal and whatnot, and things are essentially set up with an intended payoff. Whether or not you think that any of that's particularly good or interesting is another debate. But also,
I'm not disagreeing. I just think Mortal Kombat has it way better, bro.
I think the
What?
acting
That's
in Mortal
crazy.
Kombat is worse than in this movie.
Oh my good fucking lord! Dang, did you hear that shit? Oh my god, no fuck. Can you say that again? I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
All right,
Bro,
give me a
like,
second.
dude, I've been on a fucking farm plenty of times, but I've never seen cow shit so big and stinky in my life. I don't even know how to bag that shit and throw it out.
Also, the
right now.
effects are better in this movie too.
Don't talk, no. You know,
Dude,
Goro
okay,
looks
dude,
10 times better than anything in this
Dude,
movie.
for a movie that came out almost 10 years before Mortal Kombat did, I think the effects are integrated a lot better. I mean, granted, yeah, there's no computer-generated stuff because that wasn't a thing in 1987. But I mean, at least 1987 like kind of knew what it could get away with for the most part. And there wasn't anything that I was like, "Oh, this is egregious looking." Like I knew what they were going for. I've seen it in other 80s movies, so I was like, "This is fine."
Oh,
Anyways, but yeah, so that I
oh
don't know
my
I know that's probably a hot take. I
oh my
I
god,
would
dude.
much rather watch this movie over the original two Mortal Kombat movies.
Bro, I hope
Um,
you're ridiculed for this opinion for the rest of your life.
I
That's
don't think I will be.
I don't, bro. I wish we had some massive fan base to put a poll up right now, just to see how wrong that statement is.
No,
And I don't say that, bro. I do not.
I'm not saying that a lot of people won't disagree with me on this. I just that was I and again, I was expecting a way worse movie than the one that I ended up watching. And yeah, it is really annoying how we spend most of our time on Earth doing a lot of like uninteresting stuff, looking for this MacGuffin. But at least I kind of understood what was going on. It wasn't overly convoluted like Mortal Kombat was, and I think by the end it was a satisfying enough of a finale or whatever. Like it did the stuff that I kind of was expecting to happen, um, with like the fight and all that and yada yada yada. But there seemed like there was more of a point to it than in Mortal Kombat, where it's just like go to an island, fight, and we'll CGI the rest or whatever. So
Dude, I literally threw up a poll on my Twitter account just now. Like, like, like fucking beyond deadest of asses right here. Like that. I was listening, but I like, dude. I feel like I need soap for my my frontal lobe. That's crazy. Oh my god, dude. I'm like, I can't get over this.
I
You
know.
just added a whole new fuel to my fire.
I just think or I think it holds up better, especially for how big of a movie Mortal Kombat was. And when I remember watching it for the first time this last time around, and I was kind of just like, this is whatever. Like the fight scenes aren't really that great. And
Oh,
I don't know. I think I was wanting more from the '95 version than what we got, and in this one, I think it did a lot better of a job. But anyways,
oh.
we should probably
I
stop
need a
talking about Mortal
shot.
Kombat.
I need a shot of tequila, whiskey, gin, fucking Hendrix, everything, bro. Oh, dude, like, I get what you're saying. I do. I understand. But does this take place in unnamed city, by the way? Because I don't think I recall hearing a city name. Because I want to call it New York City for, like, the joke of it. But I really don't know where this takes place. Do
I think
you?
it just says California, so
Oh, unnamed city. It's always unnamed city, bro. I I just don't know what else to say outside of
did I fry your
Courtney
brain there?
Cox. Dude, I kind of felt like I short circuited on that. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic with that. Just because all I keep thinking about is Courtney Cox and how I much more prefer the energy she's been bringing to this film than what she's done since 2011. And I'll give the film that is I think the relationship between her and her boyfriend is good enough for
It's
me
well
to
defined.
connect with.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's good enough for me to connect with them throughout the film. I think a lot of my issues is when it comes to the dilemmas they're both put in, like when he gets abducted and they put like that really weird dog collar on
Oh.
him to get him to tell them where the key was, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude! Like him leading up to that moment just was. I didn't feel like. I'm trying to remember if it's because they didn't show her, and I guess that's the thing is they don't show you each of the other's reaction to what's happening to the other until after the fact. And so I find it really hard for me to believe that they actually care about one another by the time they're like on the rooftop in unnamed California city, and Skeletor just like fucking pulls up right behind them, and like there's five of them hiding up there, and none of them just see this whole army pull up right behind them, and they're like trying to be sneaky, and I'm like, guys, they're right behind you. Did you not just see this looming shadow come over you? Like, I don't know. So I get what you're saying, and I'm really trying to, I guess, figure it out in my words, because I hate being that person like that's crazy, but I don't know. I would literally take any character in the Mortal Kombat film to be the lead over Dolph Lundgren. Any character in this film, I'd rather see be the main character over Dolph Lundgren. And he's supposed to be like. So is he the main He-Man for the TV show too, or did they recast him for this?
What do you mean?
Because wasn't Masters of the Universe a TV show before?
Yeah.
It became a movie?
Yeah.
So was Dolph Lundgren He-Man in that? Or
No.
did they recast He-Man for Dolph Lundgren?
Dolph Lundgren never voiced He-Man, no.
Oh, was it an animated show? Like, bro, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, Masters of the Universe.
Oh, I thought it was a live action show. I didn't realize it was a cartoon.
No. I think you're thinking of like what, Xena Warrior Princess or something.
That fucking Flash Gordon probably again.
Yeah. So yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, He-Man.
I knew it was animated, but I didn't. I thought animated came after a live action version.
No, so the animated show came after the toy line came out, and then this was like probably like 5 years later or something like that. Where they and on the poster it even says the live action motion picture. So this is the first iteration in live action. Yeah,
the poster's so small on Wikipedia.
Yeah, but if you look like right underneath the title, it says the live.
Oh, it does. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So you know what? I'll give the film at least a little bit more leeway, because the whole time I was watching this, I thought they had some idea of like a live action look.
No.
They had going forward. So I'll give them a little bit of leeway on that. But like, I know what the cartoon looks like, and I just don't think it looks like the cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely got more of like an 80s fantasy vibe. And I think part of that is also so obviously this movie came out after the start of like the 80s fantasy stuff, you know what I mean? Like there was Conan the Barbarian and whatnot. So it's got a little bit of like inspiration from that. I know that some of the initial concepts, like concept designs, were done by Ralph McQuarrie. Not a lot, but a little bit of it, and I've seen some of that. And it does have more of like that kind of like style of artwork done for it. And obviously because they're setting it to take place during like on present day, or at the time present day Earth, it kind of has to have a little bit more of like a realistic look to it. But yeah, so I mean, I think it could be a little more colorful. Obviously, like a lot of people have made fun of the stuff set on Eternia not looking very good, because most of it is just like the desert, like matte painting looking thing that they show us like 3 or 4 times.
That's like the least of my issues with it, because modern films still do that. That was literally That was literally my issue with Mortal Kombat 21 is like Outworld in that film just looked like a standard desert, and not in the same sense that it was a matte painting, and I know that's a still image and it gets annoying seeing the repetitive thing, but it does just the same job with a boring fucking desert, even if the camera's moving, and instead of it going from left to right, it goes right to left. Like, none of that makes that much of a difference. So I don't care about that as much. I think I enjoyed much more of the stuff on Amiria, right? Am I saying it right?
Eternia.
I
mean, I think I enjoyed the stuff that was in the throne room. You can tell the budgetary restrictions, especially on Eternia, because you're only seeing like the desert. There's not a lot of like set design going on, and when we are inside Grayskull, it's just the throne room. Like we never see any other part of the castle or anything, and so the scale kind of feels a little small. And that was kind of some of the stuff that I first noticed, and I was kind of like, oh, this is maybe you guys could have done a little something. But obviously, this was before I looked into the the production. I definitely feel like from what was originally supposed to be in the script and what they originally like did concept art for, it was supposed to be much more ambitious, and then both Mattel and Canon were like, we don't have the money to do that, so set most of this on Earth so we can get away with some stuff, and then we'll have the beginning and the end take place on Eternia or in the throne room or whatever. But I don't know if you noticed, but that last battle or that last sword fight between He-Man and Skeletor, when like the lights go dim and whatnot, all of that was like pretty much a last addition to the film. They pretty much shot everything up until He-Man gets his sword back, and they like clash swords that once, and then bright light or whatever, and then the production got shut down. So pretty much everything after that, with the fight scene at least, wasn't shot. And so the director actually paid for a skeleton crew to go in and shoot the rest of the fight scene, and that's what it ended up looking like.
Yikes. That's literally all I have to say to that, because I understand why they wanted to shut it down. And
I mean,
like,
I don't. It's not because they thought the movie was bad. It's just that they didn't have money. I think like, this is the most expensive canon film that they ever produced. I'm pretty sure.
how much was Superman again?
It was like $17 million, I think. Hold on,
Okay.
Superman.
Because I'm like, this is 22, so
And for the quest for
Quest
peace.
for Peace, baby.
Oh yeah, it did come out the same year.
How much?
The budget was 17 million. It made more money at the box office than this one did.
How much did it make?
17 million.
Uh,
So it made back the budget of one of the movies. But I don't know. I think this is also an infinitely better movie than Superman 4.
I'm not saying I'm not like disagreeing with you on this. I just think they're both just as bad. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of just on the same bar for me. Like I really don't want to watch either one of them ever again. Like I feel like
Yeah,
these
that's
are
fair.
two. They would have to be two torture films. You know, in like Clockwork Orange, when they force his eyes
Oh,
open.
yeah,
And
I've
like
seen the clip, yeah.
that's literally what these two films would be like for me. And so like that's where I'm going to leave it at that with my comparison, because you can like this more and that's fine, but they're both just like equally not good on the same level. For the same reasons I feel too. Even though that primarily takes place on Earth, unlike this film.
I don't know. I think for me, I get a better sense that they were actually trying with this movie than they were with Superman. I know for a fact that the only reason that either of these movies got produced is because Canon was losing money and they were going bankrupt, and they were trying to capitalize on these existing property. That's the same reason essentially why we get movies nowadays. But so I know that the reason wasn't because like they were interested in the property or whatever. They just wanted to make money. But at least for this one, like with the people who were attached, you can kind of tell that they wanted to do their best, and I think that shows in the final product. Even if you can kind of tell that, yeah, they probably didn't have a lot of money, and maybe some of the stuff doesn't look that great or whatever, and yada yada yada. I still think that for a movie that was made in the '80s for $22 million, it stood out to me, especially among like the other canon stuff. And I don't know, yeah, I having talked about Superman 4, I know for a fact nobody wanted to make that movie. No one involved in that movie was happy to be there, and it really shows in the lack of effort that they put into every aspect of that production.
Yeah, I agree. I would have a hard time working on a Superman 4 as well if it just turned into someone's like I don't even know what to call Christopher Reeves.
Anti-nuclear activist
Anti,
stuff.
yeah. Where I know we talked about it on that episode, but I just can never get over the fact that the dude did like a fucking, what was it, like hour long monologue or something, talking about the nuclear crisis that they condensed to like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you, none of that is as interesting as anything Frank Langella has to say in this movie as Skeletor.
No, that I agree with you in that sense, where I feel like with Superman: The Quest for Peace, a lot of it was, okay, guys, let's take a step back from the movie just so Christopher Reeves can get his point across. But that happens like every 10 minutes with like a 10 minute on, 5 minutes off, 10 minute on, 5 minutes off. Where at least with this one, going back to what I said at the beginning, like every time they started making the film they wanted, the budget restricted them and they
No,
like
yeah.
took a heavy step back. And like I do appreciate the film for what it is trying to do in the sense of creating this world, and like I understand the disappointment with how they characterize Eternia because they don't do too many establishing shots or like showing us through the corridors of the actual castle. But I think I just like it more because I think these films just work, or this character in this world works better as a stay out of Earth type of thing. And I think,
No, yeah.
I don't know the characters or like the world at all, but I think if they just like based it and worked with like what Star Wars does and using real locations and just masking it for like other planets, like I think the film should have just kind of done that, but I don't know the source material to know like if there are other worlds and planets that he goes to that look oddly different, like Tatooine or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think just in general, them choosing a different location for their Eternia stuff would have gone a long way, because it really doesn't look. Sorry, it really doesn't look like anything different than what we've seen before, and what you could probably like. If you live in, I don't know, Arizona, you can walk outside your back door and be like, oh, Eternia right here in my backyard. But I mean, again, I think that's a budgetary thing. They were just probably like, we can't afford to fly out to these locations, because the set that they built for the throne room took up like 2 sound stages, so they probably spent a lot of their money on that. But I don't know. I mean, like even with this, the camera moves felt more like a real, like they actually got someone who knew how to use a camera and came and was DPing for them and whatnot. Like with Superman and other movies, it's just like, oh yeah, put the camera on a tripod and point it at the actors. And with this one, I just got a better sense of like, I don't know, I guess more style. It is a little hampered by the fact that they are just on Earth, and I do think that similar to what I said with the Mortal Kombat episode, I think they needed to commit more to like the fantasy stuff instead of the like more normal Earth shit, because it's not really that interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say on this outside of just like keep trashing it, which I don't want to keep doing. You want to get into like final wrap ups?
Yeah.
All right, you want to go first or me?
I can go. I just need to pull
Okay.
up my thing.
Oh, I just saw your score, bro. Get out of here.
So yeah, I gave it a 3 stars out of 5. And the review that I left was, well, it's definitely better than Superman 4, which is all I can ask for.
Okay, I'm glad you feel that way because I give it 0 stars out of 5, which I only think is fair because I compared it to Superman 4, and I'm pretty sure I gave it 0 stars.
I
But
hope
my
you
review is Skeletor, these nuts on your face. But I spelled it like Tor, Tore at the end. So I just want to put that out there. Just because that's what it felt like while watching all the Skeletor scenes. All I'll say is, though, this makes me more excited for the new one because I do think this new one coming out in like 2-3 weeks from now looks fun.
Yeah.
And campy, but like not bad campy, like acknowledging
Intentionally campy.
Yeah, intentionally campy with like these really worldly, outrageous things where I just feel like I like seeing Idris Elba playing. I
Man at
forgot the character,
Arms.
Man at Arms, where he clearly knows what type of character it is, but the guy playing Man at Arms in this film just wants to play it like a typical like war soldier with like PTSD for some reason. And it's just really confusing when like that doesn't feel like what the role is. And then you have Tila, who's just like this really badass woman who is just too straight faced, but like not in like the Sonya Blade sense. I don't know, but I'll just leave it at that. I'm much more excited for this new one.
No, yeah, yeah, definitely. Just before I forget, you gave Superman for the Quest for Peace half star.
Okay, I'm gonna change that then. Because at least with Letterbox, I do like you can go back and change it without like
Logging
putting
it.
a new relogging it.
Yeah, yeah. I did that today with Mortal Kombat 2021. I changed it to a 3. So
Dude, just stop talking to me, please. Like, what are we watching next week, bro? You're pissing me off. All right, I put it to 0 stars now. I feel better.
okay, this would make you feel better. This is another movie that I don't think is coming out for a while, but
Maybe next week we talk about Mortal Kombat 2.
no, we're not done doing that.
Wow, bro.
No,
You're
gonna understand why we're not doing it.
Because I'm like, I totally forgot what we were supposed to watch next.
So
this
next,
is a genuine surprise.
so yeah, next week we're journeying back to the year 2000. So the year you were born, Ryan, and we're taking a look back at one of the more infamous parody franchises of all time.
Yes,
We're watching
let's go.
Scary Movie, the first 3, not all of them, but the first 3.
Bro. Those are the only good ones. That's all I care about.
Scary Movie 6 is coming out again, not until like the beginning of June. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about those.
Movies.
Yeah, I've never seen them. I've seen clips.
Wait, I thought you've at least seen the first or second one.
No, I
you
told you I've
haven't
never seen
any.
of them. No.
Woo! Okay, dude. Dude, I can't wait for
But
like,
I'm
your
excited.
live reactions.
I'm excited having seen all the Scream movies because I know those are like a big part of the parody. But yeah, so we're looking at Scary Movie 1 through 3 next week. But I mean, we can talk about Mortal Kombat 2 if you'd prefer. You know.
No. Let's talk about those. We'll leave Mortal Kombat 2 for
Mortal Kombat
a drop
3.
in. Bro, if they don't take 10 years to make it, like
Yeah. So stay tuned for that, and let us know. Yeah, let us know down in the comments. Maybe next week we'll open up with the poll that Ryan put up on Twitter. But yeah, let us know. Do you think Mortal Kombat 95 is better than Master of the Universe 87 or vice versa? But yeah.
we'll see you bitches on the next one. Peace.